Okay, let me share my screen. Awesome. So, thanks for those who are joining live today, as well as folks who will be watching this session later on YouTube. This is the virtual webinar series hosted by the team at TwelveLabs called Multimodal Weekly. As the name suggests, we're meeting on a weekly basis over the past 2.5 years or so. And we focus a lot on multimodal AI, as the name suggests, right? Sometimes web researchers come and talk about how to use, like some of the latest papers that research in the domain of multimodal AI and foundation models. Sometimes we have community members share different projects that they build, with video and multimodal models. Developers, entrepreneurs, founders share their work on different applications that they build across different verticals. And then oftentimes we have internal team members, as well as users, talk about in-depth tutorials and guides building on top of our platform and API. This is a sample of some of the recent sessions that we have over the past month or so. We have everything from researchers talking about video reasoning to partners talk about open source inference and social listening use cases. For today's session, I'm pretty excited to have some of our community members, developers who have been building with the TwelveLabs technology, come and talk about some of their work. A little bit of context, we co-sponsor a student hackathon in Toronto about almost like a month and a half ago, and there was a wide variety of projects being built with our technology, and these three are some of the one that stood out, and I would love to have them to demonstrate the wide variety of use cases that are being built with our technology. So for the first group, we have Petar from University of Waterloo and Mira from Queen's University, who will present their project called Tonalysis, which provide real-time communication analysis and feedback on non-verbal communication using webcam and microphone inputs for speech therapy application. And then the second presentation will come from Shervin, who currently in a student at the University of Toronto. He will present his project called Fortnite We Need to Talk. This is an application that combines AI-powered gameplay coaching with an interactive 3D Fortnite Islands experience. This is pretty interesting usage of our technology. And finally, we have a group that consists of Malaravan, Azfar, and Sulaiman. They will present the application called Bojon, which is a competitive interview practice platform that gamifies one-on-one technical interview skill through real-time video analysis and scoring. Each presenters will have about like 15 minutes or so. And feel free to send your question on the Zoom chat as you listen to their talk. And then, we'll have a short Q&A up to all three speakers finish. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen. And Peter, how about you guys start share the screen and do your presentation?
All right, sounds good. Thanks for the introduction. Mira, are you good to go? All right, let me just... Sounds good, sounds good. All right, let me just share my screen and close this. Okay. All right. Okay, so I hate presentations. I hate every single aspect of presentations. I hate the deadlines. I hate the stress. I hate every other thing that you can possibly think of when it comes to giving presentations. But that's exactly why we created Tonalysis. So for some background, Tonalysis is a project that we made for Hack the Six, a hackathon in Toronto. And it's important to note that we unfortunately had two team members who are unable to show up today due to last-minute scheduling conflicts. But huge shout out to Asim and Arnav, who are students at York University who came to work with us at Hack the Six to make Tonalysis. But with that being said, hi, my name is Peter. I'm a software engineering student at the University of Waterloo.
My name is Mira. I'm a computer engineering student at Queen's. So, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, around 15% of the global population suffers from social anxiety. And this can make it really hard to give effective presentations if anxiety is getting in the way of clear expression and communication. Neurodivergent people can also struggle with this due to difficulty reading facial expressions and body language cues accurately, which then makes it hard to implement those in their own speech and presentations. They can also have challenges understanding tone of voice and emotional context. The other problem is that real life situations just offer very limited feedback on communication style and effectiveness, so you might not know if what you're doing is even working or not.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly why we made Tonalysis. So to actually give you guys a quick demo of how it works, I'm going to quickly show this screen. Hopefully everything still is viewable. And it's going to give me a countdown. And then now basically I'm just going to be talking, but I'm just going to quickly check to make sure that this demo is fine. Yeah, okay. I think the demo gods are with us today. So I'm now going to be talking, and you're going to see a live transcription of every single word that I'm saying in the top right corner. And on top of that, we're going to get an AI response on how we can improve our speaking abilities. So that first couple of words that I said, it says here, your message was perfectly understandable, and it's great. You're planning ahead. To add more richness to your speed, try varying common phrases. For instance, instead of repeating, I'm just going to, you might say, I'll begin by talking, then quickly verify this demo is ready for viewing, introducing new verbs and adjectives, which is pretty helpful advice. And that is going to constantly keep giving us a new analysis as I go on with this demo. On top of that, you can also see my body language down here. So you can see when I'm happy, sad, and as well as that, like neutral, if I can get neutral, and also good this is representing my posture. So if I'm like leaning down, and let's see if I can get poor, you can see that my posture was poor there. And then if I go up to excellent, it says my posture is excellent there, which is really cool. And there's also my energy levels there as well. And it also gives me some feedback on how I can improve my body language, saying it's fantastic. Your dominant happy emotion is truly radiant, making your message incredibly engaging and inviting. Continue to let that genuine positive energy shine through your facial expressions, especially when you're making key points to really connect and draw your audience in. And on top of that, we get another speech analysis here quickly. And I'm not going to read through that again, but if you want, you can screenshot that. And also down here, we frequently get some small notifications on how I can improve my overall speaking abilities every 10 to 20 so seconds. And then on top of that, we also have a timer here just to keep track of how long you've been presenting. So with that being said, I'm actually going to stop the practice session, and then I'm going to click end session. And then this is our end panel and end panel. And immediately I'm going to send this for a detailed analysis to TwelveLabs. So TwelveLabs is going to take that entire video recording session, everything that I just recorded completely, and it's going to send it to TwelveLabs, and it's going to analyze my video and give me extremely beneficial feedback on how I can improve my overall presentations. And while that's analyzing, I can also quickly mention that we have a bunch of statistics here for our voice, body, and energy, with 100% being your best possible presentation. And that's essentially just used to, like, it's used as a benchmark. So every single time you practice with this, you know if you're improving or not improving, I guess. And as well as that, there's a video down here where you can just play back your video. This video also needs to process and load, so you can't really like skip through all of it yet. But you know what? While this is loading, I think I should go back to the slides and talk a bit more about the tech stack. So for our tech stack, for the front end, we just used HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript. Extremely plain and simple, no crazy like React framework or any other frameworks were used for the front end. But for the browser APIs, we did use the web speech API. So for my demo, you might have noticed that I was talking extremely quickly, but even though I'm talking really fast, web speech is able to track that and display display every single thing that I'm saying in a transcription on the right corner that you guys saw at the beginning, which is really helpful and beneficial to get that real-time analysis for our speaking. Additionally, we're also using WebRTC, and that's essentially just used for a video and audio capture that we're eventually going to send to TwelveLabs, which we'll get into a bit more later. Additionally, we're also using WebSockets. WebSocket API, that's incredibly important for that low latency communication between our browser and our server. So that's like really important for things like, communicating those messages, those AI messages that we're getting back from the server, for example. And for the backend, we're using the Fast API. So the Fast API, that's just a Python web framework that we're using. And it's extremely important for managing those JSON responses as well as file uploads, so specifically for videos. And on top of that, we're also using UVcorn, which is even more important because that's the reason we can actually run our Fast API app, because UVcorn is actually an ASGI web server. And so that helps us be able to actually use the Fast API app that we're making, as well as that it also helps with those WebSocket connections that we're making. And for our AI and ML services, we're using MediaPipe, which is one of them. And MediaPipe was extremely important for all of the face tracking stuff that we had. And although my screen sharing was kind of cooked and it kind of blurred it out for you in Zoom, if you were to check out the dev post that we posted, or if you try this out for yourself, you should see small green dots all over your face as well as lines. And that's a MediaPipe doing its job, where it's tracking all of our facial features, whether we're happy, whether we're sad, our face is neutral, our posture being good, bad, poor, etc. All of that's being done through MediaPipe, which is really super helpful. And as well as that, we also have Gemini working alongside MediaPipe, where Gemini is constantly getting the data from a MediaPipe on our facial expressions, and then it outputs, for example, like how we can improve our posture, for instance. And on top of that, Gemini was also used alongside the Web Speech API to be able to just give us some quick, small improvements on how we can improve our overall words that we're using when we're speaking. And for TwelveLabs, before we go into more depth on TwelveLabs, actually, let's go back to this local host, and we can see that we finally got our video analysis report. So we have our speech analysis here, and we have some timestamps, which is pretty cool, like 13 and 40 seconds when we're using pauses and emphasis, when we're using filler words like and which is something I really need to stop doing. I need to remove those words from my vocabulary. We also have some body language analysis, which is really cool. Overall performance, actionable recommendations. This list is huge, and we really get a really big deep dive into how we can improve our overall speaking skills. And with that being said, let's continue into a more deeper dive into TwelveLabs. Oh, Mira, your microphone is muted.
Oh, sorry, forgot to unmute. Okay. So starting on the front end, the user's microphone and camera data are captured using WebRTC APIs, specifically MediaStream and Media Recorder. The recording is then stored and sent to the backend for processing. So on the back end, the recording is saved temporarily as a .webm file. It's then validated, checking its size, headers, all that. Then FFmpeg is used to convert it to a .mp4 format with H.264 video and AAC audio codecs. If conversion fails, times out, if FFmpeg isn't available, any problem like that, we simply fall back to the original WebM file. So once we have this file, it's then sent to TwelveLabs for multimodal analysis. So both video and audio will be processed together. This makes sure that the analysis can comprehensively cover the presentation as a whole. So both video elements like facial expressions, body language, and audio elements like tone and pacing are all analyzed together to just get the overall impression and improvement suggestions for the presentation. Then in TwelveLabs, we either use an existing index if one exists, or create a new one if not, using two multimodal models. So these are Marengo 2.7 for embeddings and Pegasus 1.2 for the actual generative analysis of the report. Finally, we run a prompt through TwelveLabs to generate a detailed report on the presentation. And the end result is a structured video analysis report summarizing both the visual and audio components of the presentation and providing very specific detailed suggestions. As you can see there on the right side of the screen, that's an example report from one of our tests. So Tonalysis gives helpful insights on the user's own communication, but one possible extension would be to apply it to understanding others' communication as well. The same technology could be applied to video conferences, but instead of analyzing the user through the webcam, it analyzes everyone else's reactions through the screen. This way, the presenter would get a better sense of how they're getting their point across based on everyone else's reactions. For example, if everyone suddenly looks confused, it might be a sign that you're not explaining yourself clearly, or if they look bored, you might want to speak more energetically, try to be more engaging. And we already made a version of Tonalysis as a Chrome extension for easier use and integration with video chat software. So this addition probably wouldn't be too hard to implement with mostly the same technology, just a different source of input. Another next step is a structured timeline. So Tonalysis already gives real-time feedback suggestions, but a detailed timestamp timeline built into the TwelveLabs report at the end could also be useful to help the user review their presentation as a whole. So with this, they could identify the points that would most benefit from improvement or maybe just more rounds of practice for the presentation. For example, if their confidence is always lower in certain places, or they use more filler words, or have lower energy, worse posture, if you find places where that's consistently worse, you know that that's a point of improvement. The timestamps will also be clickable, so the user could rewatch those specific parts of the video, review the suggestions, and see how they could improve.
Yeah, and awesome. And that quickly wraps up our presentation on Tonalysis. We hope you enjoyed. We also hope that you guys go try this out for yourself on our GitHub. It's attached to the dev post, which I'm pretty sure is also linked in the webinar that was posted on our LinkedIn, which is pretty cool. So give that a shot if you want to. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. And thank you.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Peter and Mira. Maybe spend maybe 1 or 2 minutes of question, and then we can move on to the next one.
Can I just, instead of typing it, ask it, James?
Yeah, go for that.
So great work, guys. I think it's really awesome. I just wanted to ask so a question and then have a few suggestions. On the suggestion side, 2 months ago or 3 months ago almost, we did a project that involved video analysis, not for speech therapy, but for other things. And technologies you might find useful. So there's a CV model that analyzes heart rate variability. And I think for anxiety, it could be really helpful. And we thought it's really cool, but it might be a little bit slow for a live video, but for post-processing. So I'm sharing a GitHub. It basically gives you a heart rate time series off of the face expression. So we included that as well. And then for audio, we used the Hume API. There's a company called Hume, and they have like the emotional sort of prosody map for the voice. But I don't know, like we didn't test how good it is, but we just included it for demonstration purposes. But if you really kind of want to productionalize it, I think it's something to try as well. But my main question is, what were specific tactics for prompting the TwelveLabs models to give you the right answer? Like, how much did you iterate on the prompting and on the usage of I think you mentioned Pegasus. Like, how did you get it to be good? And so, like, what was your process of improving on the prompt?
Yeah, sure. So for the prompt, we actually iterated it a lot of times. In fact, we were using for the prompt, we were using like AIs like ChatGPT and Gemini to constantly rework the prompt and make it a lot better. But it's like a paragraph long if you want. Like I can screen share and I can send like a screenshot right now in my code right I'll just like paste it in the chat really quickly if anyone wants it, but it was really just like honestly like reiterating it multiple times. We had like specific sections, like we wanted the speech analysis, we wanted the body language analysis, we wanted the overall performance and actual actionable recommendations. So we had like a fairly like long prompt for that, but I'll send that in the chat right now if I can go to the Zoom call, and I'll just paste it in the chat in 3, 2, 1. Oh, and it goes over the character limit. Okay. I'm gonna cut out the first couple of words, or maybe the last couple
It
of
would be
words. It's very
as
long.
well, if they-
I
It would be
removed
in
a
our
bit.
code.
I removed a bit, but that's the majority of it. I'll paste the other bottom parts. But yeah, that it was essentially just like constantly reiterating. Mira, if you have anything else you want to add with that, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, I did find it useful just to look into a bit of psychology research as well on what different expressions and body language can mean, just so I could like tell it specific things to look for. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. And then, sorry, my camera is a little funky. And then, did you guys like test it against some ground truth data? Like, did you have some sort of examples where you would say, okay, this is how it's supposed to do it, or you just kind of vibe checked and it always was good, right? So
Well, that's a fair question. That's a fair question. And I think when we were presenting this, it was fairly vibe checked in my personal opinion, only because it was in during the hackathon and we were rushing through it just to get at least a
yeah.
stable prototype done. But we, like Mira said, we did like I think Mira is more suitable to answer this question because she did actually do some research during the hackathon on more in-depth approaches on how we on how we went about doing that. If Mira, if you want to tag along.
Yeah, so just based on like the limited resources we had, we could only really test it with ourselves and our other two group members.
Mhm.
But what I did anyway is I would try to like speak and do an intentional facial expression to just make sure that it is picking up on that and cross-reference everything. Sorry.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Really great work.
All right, thanks, Peter and Mira. Yeah, so let's go ahead with the second presentation. Shervin, I think you're on the call. Do you want to start sharing the screen and go ahead?
Hi, yeah, of course. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Can everyone hear me and see my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Good. So, my name is Shervin. I'm a student from the University of Toronto. And just like our previous presenters, I was also a participant at Hack the Six. I did the hackathon solo. I had lots of work that weekend, and I really wanted to work on that project on my own hours, and also from the comfort of my own home. Um, so yeah, within the time that they gave us, and also another advantage of working by myself was that I had significantly more creative freedom, and I was able to create something like what I'm about to present today. It's called Fortnite We Need to Talk. The name is from one of Cypher PK's, or I just start by introducing Cypher PK. It's the man that you see on the screen here. He's a very popular Fortnite content creator, and the video that he made titled "Fortnite We Need to Talk" went very viral, and the thumbnail went very viral, and so I thought it'd be cool to name my project after that. Um, but yeah, being able to work solo gave me the creative freedom to make something that was like this, and I'm really excited to present it for you today. So the first thing I want to talk about is what exactly it is. So Fortnite at this current point in time has around 1 million concurrent players, which is a lot of people. So this product really has a lot of potential target audience, and that's something I really took into consideration when making this project. Another important thing is we see a lot of Fortnite coaching, or in general video game coaching services. Many people apparently didn't know that these exist, but they absolutely do exist. And they're quite expensive. You can see some screenshots here on screen, and per hour they can go up to like $40, $50, and you can get really ridiculous with the prices, right? And so yeah, the that was kind of the motivation behind building my product. Um, Fortnite We Need to Talk is an AI-powered Fortnite coach, so it gives you instant feedback. It's really good feedback. It's high-level feedback. It is affordable and it's fun and interactive, and the AI is themed to talk like Cypher PK. Um, Another important thing to know before moving on is that um, I personally would use a product like this in the um, in my like day-to-day playing Fortnite. I've been playing Fortnite a lot this summer, and I've genuinely used my own product with me and my friends as clips before. Um, and it was something that was completely different from whatever I've done before. Okay, I can move on. So basically, I kind of just want to go over how it works first. Um, Essentially, you upload your clip, and you can either paste the video URL or you can upload a file. And then within minutes, you can get a feedback like a summary feedback of what you did well, what you can do better, and how to improve. And also, it will give you feedback on key gameplay tactics like building and aim and all these mechanics that are within Fortnite itself. And after that, you're free to explore the gallery, or you can talk to the chat bot, which is themed like Cypher PK. So before we continue, I'll actually just load up the demo because it does take quite a bit. So this is it. The initial starting page is just like this map, and you can press any of these buttons here, and I really tried my hardest to make this UI look like the Fortnite UI. Obviously the font is different, but the font for the Fortnite font is like, it costed a lot of money. I think it was around $100 to get the full version. But anyways, I just clicked on get coaching, and it takes me to the upload page here. And from here, I can just choose a file. I guess I can choose maybe that one. And if I press upload here on the command prompt on my other monitor, I've seen that it's started doing its thing. So we can go back to the presentation, and once it's done, I'll go back to the demo and I'll continue that. But yeah, so this is how it works. That's all we do. And I kind of just want to go over some of the key features of it. It does really good gameplay analysis. It has a really good chatbot that is themed like Cypher PK. And it will give you video summaries and chapters based on the clip that you upload to it. And it will also provide good thumbnails for everything in the gallery, just so everything can stay there and the thumbnails are unique and AI generated. And obviously, the main homepage has an interactive 3D map where you can move it around, and it's the Fortnite map as of last season. They had an update between when the hackathon was and this point in time. But it is the same map as the last season. So I guess I can continue. The first thing I want to talk about, obviously, is gameplay analysis. So what it'll do is it'll read through, or it'll watch your video using the Pegasus model of the TwelveLabs API, and it breaks it down into different things like building and positioning and decision making, and it gives you timestamps for every single tip. And it really just helps you focus on specific skills that you're lacking, because it will just point it out for you when necessary. And so here I have a screenshot of the prompt I used, and it's basically just telling the AI to give me feedback in a JSON format, with the keys being good, bad, and improve. And then later in my code, I parse these and display these on the page for you to see there. Okay, the next key feature I want to talk about is the chatbot. So this is like a Cypher PK style chatbot, and you can ask questions based on specific timestamps in the video. The AI chatbot does have complete access to your video. So you can ask, for example, I guess in this screenshot here, I asked, how can I hit more shots at 19 seconds into the video? And then we get a tailored response from the Cypher PK AI. And it really mimics Cypher PK's style, and it even goes down to the inside jokes that he makes, such as talking about Chun-Li, which, if you don't know, is a Street Fighter character that is in Fortnite, and Cypher PK is obsessed with that skin. And basically, what I've done here to achieve this is I've made a insanely long prompt. And what this does is it gives the TwelveLabs AI the entirety of Cypher PK's personality. And it also, if you can see there in the blue curly braces, it gives you the chat history. It gives you a summary of what the TwelveLabs API created. And it also, at the end there, it gives you the message that you type into the message box. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the chapters. So basically, this is just a video summary, and it tells you all of the different chapters, so all of the different things that happen in the video. For example, here, you can see the first chapter there is a robot inside of a glass structure. I think I play on lower graphics, so it's misinterpreting like my metal structure as glass structure, but it's okay. It still tells you pretty accurately what's going on at different points in the video. And yeah, it saves hours of manual VOD review. For those of you who don't know, VOD stands for video on demand, and it's basically just recordings of Twitch streams. So a lot of people, when they want to improve, they will look at other Twitch streamers and their gameplay and like the pros, and they'll analyze it and review it, etc., etc. But with the TwelveLabs AI, you can upload that and you can get an entire summary within minutes, right? And so the way I've done that here is I've used the summarize method of the client object within the TwelveLabs API. And I've also just created something to make a object for our chapters and also display it for us on the screen there. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about are these thumbnails. So these are AI generated thumbnails. These are made with Gemini API, so not TwelveLabs. But yeah, so it basically is just it's given the summary. If you can look at the bottom there, this is the prompt I used for that. And we basically give it the summary of the video, and we also give it some more information like adding Chun-Li or Cypher PK's Fortnite skin itself to make it more unique and themed. And basically, yeah, it generates these thumbnails on the spot every time you create a new video. It will go to the gallery, and as soon as you open the gallery, it will start generating a thumbnail for your image. So yeah, this really helps with revisiting clips later on, or wanting to share different clips in the past that you've uploaded to the AI. So in general, it's pretty good. The next thing I want to talk about is the interactive 3D map. So this is basically just a 3D island with physics-based chests that drop. So if you looked at the bottom right here, you see that little surprise me button. That one will actually drop a chest randomly on the somewhere on the map. And if you click on it, it'll take you to one of the clips that you've uploaded in the past. And I think the initial idea with this was when I first made this for the hackathon. The idea was to create some sort of game out of this. It's more of an experience at this point in time than it is a game, but it's still cool regardless, and it took me a lot of effort. I had to use Three.js and React, and also Canon.js for collision physics. And if you look here in this middle image, um, that tells you the some information about the physics of the different chests that are being dropped. At the top left there, it shows you what happens if you click one of the chests. It'll take you to a random video within your TwelveLabs library. And in case you're wondering how I came up with the map, you can see on the bottom right there, I just used an asset that I found online and I imported it into the browser with Three.js. Cool. The tech stack, basically for the front end, I used React. I also used Three.js to display the 3D models. I used Tailwind CSS for the Fortnite aesthetic. Initially, in my initial submission to the hackathon, it was a little bit more bare bones. They were just yellow parallelograms, and they would animate a little bit when you had your mouse over them. But at this point in time, I worked on them a bit more to make them look like the actual buttons from the Fortnite, but from current Fortnite, and that took a lot more effort and more Tailwind. For the backend, I'm using Flask with the TwelveLabs API for the video analysis. I didn't write it down here, but I'm using the Pegasus model. And for the thumbnail generation, I use Gemini 2.0 Flash. And so basically, the general data flow is you upload your video, it goes to TwelveLabs for analysis, and we get JSON feedback, and React parses and displays it in the front end. Cool. So target audiences, I think it's important to talk about target audiences here. So casual Fortnite players are definitely one of the target audience, people who just want to get better a little bit, but maybe get better than their friends. So their interests would be streaming, Fortnite, or gaming communities. And these type of people may find professional coaching too expensive. So like I mentioned at the start of my presentation, these coaches can go up to $50 an hour, which is just ridiculous. The other target audience is aspiring competitive gamers. So these are a little bit older people. And basically, these are gamers who are training for tournaments or for major competitive events. And basically, their interests would be esports, getting better strategy and improving their skills and fine-tuning it. And these people may not have the time for professional coaching. So they do a lot of practice in the actual game itself, and they don't have a lot of time to review their clips outside of the game. And they would also struggle to find coaching at their level if they are at a really high level as well. So yeah, just a final look. I do definitely want to go back to the demo at this point. So the important things is that it's affordable, it's instant, it gives you feedback within minutes as compared to reviewing hour-long Twitch streams. It gives you specific feedback, actionable, and it tells you at exactly which points in the video the feedback applies to. And with all that said, it's fun and it's Fortnite themed and it's Fortnite inspired, and it has a bit of Cypher PK flair. So I guess I can go back to the video here. So at this moment, I'm looking at my command prompt, and it gave really generic feedback because I ran out of 12Labs API uses for the day. I ran out of requests, but I do have some backup there. I just don't know how to move this thing. See here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so basically, this is just the clip on the right. I'm gonna mute this, but this is just the clip on the right. It plays it, you can view it, and you can interact with it and do whatever you want. And basically, it'll tell you what you did well, what you did poorly, and how to improve. So yeah, it's not giving any specific timestamps here, but you can go to, for example, the follow-up here, and you can type messages to the Cypher PK AI. So let's see here. I think I get a good headshot here at 0.20, so I can ask, how can I hit more consistent headshots like I did at 0.20? And I can send that. It visually, there's no confirmation that it's sent, but I can see on my command prompt here that it did send. And within a second here, we see the tailored Cypher PK. He's talking in slang, and it's just crazy. It's really good, really fun, and really funny to read. And he genuinely gives some good advice here, right? So, it's all about precision and speed. Keep practicing. Pretty good. Building structures quickly so you can get a clear shot. That's pretty decent advice. But I want to go to some other videos where I actually get tailored feedback here. So maybe I'll go through this one here. It's saying that I had good aim on a headshot at 0.6. So let's take a look at what I had at 0.6. So I think it's talking about that shot right there. It's talking about good building that I had at 0.17. So let me scrub back to 0.17 here. So yeah, at this point, I'm just building up to help my teammates and take this fight right here. And it's telling me some things that I did poorly, right? So for example, there's some missed shots apparently here. So let's see this. So yeah, I just missed that shotgun shot, which was pretty embarrassing, but at least it tells me that I missed it. And it's giving me chapters and feedback on how to improve. And here we go, we have chapters, and it's going through everything for us. And I think I can go to, I'll go back to home, and I'll go to the gallery to demonstrate what the thumbnail generation looks like. So it takes a minute to fetch all my videos first. So let's wait for that. And we can see there's a new video down here that it's generating the thumbnail for, but it's generated a thumbnail for a bunch of videos. Now this is going to be pretty generic because there was no feedback for the video that I got. So yeah, it's a very generic thumbnail compared to the rest of these. But anyways, I'd like to continue the presentation because I'm almost out of time here. Basically, important key takeaways. Good feedback without paying a lot, and it's specific to you, specific to your clips. Saves time with chapters and summaries, so you don't have to review hours of video footage. and it's fun and engaging and will keep you happy and satisfied while you are learning. And that's it.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Shervin. I think this is a very, very exciting, novel application of technology, and I think that's great that you showcase all the problem that you leverage for the gaming, how a business model can be used to identify action in games, right? Then the design as well, the UX and UI is very tailored, right, for Fortnite. So these are like the kind of like long tail use cases that we're excited to see developers build our technology, and I'm glad that you talk with other team, and hope to see more and more adoption of our technology in the gaming space in general. Due
Thank
to
you, yeah.
yep, due to the like the limited time constraint, like let's keep any Q&A and question on the Zoom chat. Yeah, so for the last 15 minutes, I would love to have the last team. So Azfar, Sulaiman, Malaravan, I think you guys are here, right? Yeah, let's feel free to share a screen and
Yep. Let
Yep.
me just share my screen. Give me a second.
mhm.
So, see. Okay, can you guys see the screen?
Yep, we'll see it.
Okay, so Malaravan, I don't know if you're hello.
My name is Malaravan. I am one of the creators of Bojon, a project that we built for Hack the Six. It is meant to help you prepare for video interviews with real-time video analysis, real confidence, and real results. Next slide. All right, so the problem motivation that we wanted to go with. Interview prep today is really inconsistent and unengaging. Mock interviews are hard to organize, evaluations are biased, and feedback is often limited. So we want to solve all of that with Bojon. With fair evaluation, AI-driven scoring reduces human bias and creates consistent benchmarking. With engagement in agencies, competitive structures, with ELO head-to-head, keeps players motivated and in control of their improvement. So it's kind of like chess, but with coding interviews, and the entire AI-driven scoring methods are run with TwelveLabs. So here's our tech breakdown. So we have a backend which uses MongoDB Atlas to store player data and ELO, and file system for MP4 clips that we send over to TwelveLabs. We have API processing using Node.js, async video handling, and REST endpoints. We also use evaluations. We use Gemini for making our questions, and then TwelveLabs for the actual scoring. And the entire thing is hosted on a computer acting as a server using an ngrok tunnel so that we could have two different clients on two different devices. For front end, we use pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with a gold theme responsive to Unimal design. And the way we evaluate all of this is using an ELO equation that assumes net zero gain, where we take the ELO from one player and we give it to the other.
Okay. So just a little bit more about our can you guys hear me? Just quick check.
Yeah, we
Okay. Okay, good. So just a little bit more. We just use pure.js and Node.js. We didn't use Express or anything like that. We didn't have time during the hackathon, as well as some other problems that came up. And obviously, we had Gemini for our question generation. We had MongoDB Atlas working as our store of user information, and TwelveLabs was doing our whole evaluation. And as Malaravan said, the ELO equation, we assume that it's a net zero game like chess, where the ELO of one person is given to the other person. And this ELO equation, we put it into our code, and we ask TwelveLabs to rate it. And then we would pit the ratings against each other, and we would find a ratio, which would then be calculated using the ELO equation. So now I wanted to talk about the general flow of our entire project, which it's pretty simple. So it's a 1v1 interview game that's end-to-end. We tried to make it multimodal. So we had Auth0 working as our login, and users can authenticate and get short-lived ID or access. And this let our front end, the pure HTML, CSS, deployed on a computer working as a server. It allowed the users to talk securely to our data plane. And then it would go to different HTML pages such as index, lobby, game, results. And the browser would do, it runs in your browser. So the browser would do three things mainly. It would record audio video with get user media function. It would pull and fetch data using our tokenized API calls, and it would run a local ELO calculation so that the UI is a lot faster. So as you can see, we have MongoDB Atlas. Unfortunately, can you guys, if I switch tabs, can you guys see this? Okay, so MongoDB Atlas, we had the data API, users, queue, matches, ELO, leaderboard, and this kept updating, writing results and updating through our ELO calculator. And we had Gemini for our questions. We would prompt it and we would get a question, randomized tech question, and then we would serve it to the users at the same time. And TwelveLabs would evaluate the scores, return the metrics, et cetera, et cetera. And in the end, we would get a results page with leaderboard UI and whatnot. So I would have loved to do a live demo, but as one round would take about 15, 20 minutes on its own, I have a video where I chopped up a mock round I played with myself on a computer. So let me just play this. So here in the first page, we have our entrance. So normally here, when we click start my interview battle, it queries auth0 and the user has to sign in. I chose continue with Google. It's the fastest. And yeah, just gonna let this play. So here we can see our top 10 leaderboard. And as you can see, it has a few bugs. It keeps it keeps randomizing not randomizing, it keeps messing up who's first, second, third. And that is an issue we've been facing for a while, but otherwise it does update correctly. It just doesn't rank them correctly, which is a problem. These are all people that we got to play our game during the hackathon. These are all from Hack the Six. So here we have a refresh button and a start game button. As you can see, I'm trying to make sense to myself why I'm ranked third if I have 500. So here I was running a game against Azfar Mahbub with my account Mahbub 2006. And when we start game, I think I did a jump cut here. Yeah, okay. So we have the game, it opens up immediately. And the question is, what is the difference between TCP and UDP? All right. So now I had my computer and this computer set up, and I answered the same on both of them. And okay, I didn't want to show you guys my messy hair. So I recorded the video, I sent it over to TwelveLabs, and well, the code sent it over. It loaded and it spat out that it was a draw, which is correct because the two computers had the same voice input, so it would be ranked the same. And then our leaderboard doesn't change because there was no ELO exchanged, and we get a knowledge rating and a confidence rating, and yeah, that's that. So that was the demo. So Sulaiman, I don't know if he's active. Can you?
Oh yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so our plan is to actually deploy our project. So in order to do that, we plan to implement some technical improvements. So first, let's talk about that. We want to introduce Matchmaking 2.0, a smarter system that balances wait time with fair skill matching, so players get into games faster without sacrificing competitiveness. We're also working on latency reduction, streamlining both video uploads and TwelveLabs evaluations so the feedback loop feels nearly instant. Another focus is score transparency. Instead of one opaque score, we'll break down evaluations into sub-metrics like clarity, conciseness, and depth, so players know why they got the result. And finally, cross-platform expansion, moving from browser only to lightweight mobile clients so anyone can train anytime and anywhere. Can you go next slide? Okay, so on the gameplay side, we're making Bojon even more engaging. First, we'll add multi-round interviews, a best of 3 format that reduces random variance and it feels more like a real competition. Next, custom question pools. Players can pick categories, technical, behavioral, or even fun icebreakers to match their goals. We're also building in ELO modifiers like streak bonuses for consistent wins and decay for inactivity to keep rankings dynamic. And lastly, a spectator mode. Imagine watching replays, seeing top players, or even commenting on games. It adds a whole new competitive layer.
And the ELO modifiers thing hinges on our ELO system not messing up the rankings, but it is what it is.
Okay, as for use case extensions, beyond core gameplay, here's how Bojon can extend into real-world use cases. As a recruitment tool, companies could run automated skill pre-screenings, or candidates could do anonymous mock interviews on ranked leaderboards. In education, students can practice peer-to-peer, and teachers can leverage integrated dashboards to monitor progress with objective scoring. And finally, for the esports angle, Bojon tournaments at hackathons, clubs, or universities with seasonal ladders and prizes. Interview prep becomes not just useful, but exciting and competitive.
So unless there's any further comments, I'm going to move on to the next slide. I think James said Q&A in the messages. Okay, so one of our teammates, Anant, wasn't able to be here today. Here's our LinkedIns. We have Bojon's GitHub from the hackathon in this QR code. We are going to make changes to it and update it. Right now, what is happening is that a lot of the stuff that we do during the hackathon was, I wouldn't say vibe coded, I'd say it was patched together with pieces of code that worked individually. And then when we put them together, not on live server, it just broke or it didn't work correctly. We are going to fix those, but updates are incoming. So it's on that QR code. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Very succinct demonstration. I love how you leverage Pegasus for the evals aspect of it. Come up with a very concrete rubric on how to determine the
Yeah.
You
Sorry, our rubric was very much like a block of text, and it was just querying, look at the eye contact, look at the content, and see if it's a valid answer at all. And then it would rate you on confidence based on if you're looking at the camera and if you're speaking clearly. But these things are affected by webcam quality and mic quality, which we found out the hard way. Some of our friends tried to play the game and they dropped to 200 elo because their camera quality was that bad. So there's definitely some bugs that we need to work through.
Yeah, no worries. I just want to emphasize that, it's an interesting use cases for Pegasus, right? Like use it to evaluate the quality of video, right? Because most of the time, like people using it for like summarization, highlights, question answering, but not evals yet, right? So I think like seeing how you were to use it for that particular workflow is pretty exciting, because as we think about like how we can integrate with different evaluation technology. Yeah, so that's my main point. Yeah, so I think we have like 2 minutes left on the webinar session. Is there any question from the audience? Not just for the Bojon group, but like for the rest of the Tonalysis group, as well as the
Yeah, maybe someone has insights and I'll just ask it. And then if you have some thoughts about this, please go ahead and answer. If you don't, that's okay too. But basically, I think the models are really awesome. The video understanding models are really awesome and can do some magic, but they're not perfect, right? So we saw even, I think in Shervin's example, where the time code was like a few seconds off. Sometimes they can like make up a new chapter. So if you would categorize the hallucinations of these video models, like basically, I'm sorry, identifying the time wrong, describing wrong description or making stuff up completely that hasn't happened. Like, what have you seen mostly in what have you experienced in your domains? I'm talking about the errors, hallucinations, things like that.
I mean,
I can.
for us, it was, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's okay. It's okay. You can go
All
first.
right. So for us, it was more like so we were testing edge cases during the hackathon. And what we were doing is covering our webcam completely just to see what it would give us for confidence score. And since it couldn't see anything, it was just making up stuff based on what it thought were eyes. I remember putting my finger on it and it like saw a little speck of white on it. And it was like, oh, that's an eye. So I'll rate it 20. And it should have rated it 0, which it was making up stuff as it went, but it worked most of the time.
For me, I think the most delusion I was able to see out of it was like I explained in my presentation. I play Fortnite with like lower graphics, so sometimes the like the clips look different than what it's supposed to look like in real life, or what maybe the what it's used to seeing. You know, a lot of people play on like consoles, and where like yeah, on consoles where the graphics are just locked at a higher setting, so they look different than what my clips would look like. So it would just come up with things that maybe did not exactly happen, um, just because of they just look differently because of the graphics in the game.
I see. So basically providing like consistent, accurate data is kind of key. If you miss some data anywhere, then you're likely the model's gonna come make things up. Yeah. And last question, Shervin, are you sure you're not that influenced? Because you look exactly like that guy, like one-to-one, just a copy of a face. Are you secretly like downplaying your fame?
No, that's Cypher PK. That's like a popular guy. I mean, if you watch his video, he sounds different, looks different. I mean, I
Sure,
guess
then
he
let me
looks
hold a
similar.
band, bro. Let me hold a band.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That was very insightful.
Awesome. Yeah, so thanks Sada again for some insights and question. And then again, like, obviously like when we build a model, right, we try to it's a general purpose model. So it's not optimized for any particular maybe for some particular domain that we have more of a focus on, but I think like by having developers, like this build like try to apply right a model into novel use cases that will solicit right a lot of the potential limitation on key capabilities in the model, which would then be useful for us, right? We would think about upgrading it and making it better, whether it's in the form of like API support or data, right, or like domain specific like post processing step, better prompt engineering guy, etc. And so I think that's the entire purpose of like doing hackathons and having like talented folks who can think about creative imaginative new use cases with TwelveLabs. Yeah. Peter, I saw you open up your screen as well. Do you want to add any final comments on your last question?
Oh, I was like just gonna mention for like the hallucination stuff for ours. We got pretty lucky. I think it was like fairly accurate. The only reason I say that is 'cause I really like the fact that it pointed out the like it might have been really obvious, but the ums and uhs and like when we were saying that specifically, we tested it and we looked back on the video, like the physical video we recorded, and it seemed to be pretty accurate for us at least. But maybe we do need to do more testing. Maybe the hallucinations will come up. But I just wanted to quickly add that for us, TwelveLabs worked fairly well.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the preparation that leading up to this session, and recording of this session should be available publicly on YouTube by next week, early next week. So I'll be sure to share that with you all so that you can post that with your social network. Thanks again, everyone, for making the time today. And then yeah, we'll have a couple more like presentation like this from developers in the next 2 weeks or so. So stay tuned and watch them and attend the session if you can. All right, for those of you in the US, hope you have a long weekend. Bye, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.